Welcome to another Walk in the Word. Things are looking a little different out here. Previously I showed you the lines across the street here for new gas lines, but they're doing a lot more than that. They're putting in new curbs across the street there. Amazing. And then down here you can see there's some graffiti. They're gonna be busting up the road here big time. This is a major thoroughfare here, and they're gonna be running new gas lines. Gas lines are old, 50 years or so. Between all this and Trader Joe's, wow, you know. And I'm gonna head up here towards Trader Joe's, and you'll see along by that firehouse, looks like they're putting new curbs in there too. I don't know, maybe Trader Joe's has something to do with it. I mean, they're doing all the way down the street new curbs. See, that sign says road improvement program. Kind of interesting the way they printed it, because everybody's names are on there politically, who would be the ones to blame if anything goes wrong, and you really can't read the names. Typical. How can we make the sign so people have trouble reading it? Yeah, do black letters on gray background, make it shiny. So anyway, here you can see the road all the way up. This is going towards Trader Joe's. So Trader Joe's might have something to do with it. We'll see. If I'm here, I just saw a spider web hanging and I didn't want to walk into it. Amazing how much nature thrives in a world that's like dying, you know. So they're still doing it. Well, have you ever had an out-of-body experience? I got 3 stories today. You know, last week we talked about UFOs. Figured I don't know, get some weird stuff out of the way, I guess. Out-of-body experience. I think a lot of people try and explain it away as a dream. I can prove that those things are not dreams. Like I said previously, we have dreams, we have visions, and we also have visitations. Well, an out-of-body experience can be a visitation if you go someplace. I'll tell you one like that. But let's see what Trader Joe's is up to. Doesn't look like much. Oh, they got the Trader Joe's sign up. Yeah. Not bad. I mean, they've got a lot done. Let's go for a walk in the Word. Out-of-body experience. There's you know, nothing in the Word about this. Not directly. However, we are body, spirit, and soul. Now, people have had a hard time defining these things. Understandably so. Because if you look at the dictionaries, they're a mess. I mean, you look at the differences between spirit and soul, and you'll see, I don't know what the word is for it to me. You'll see, I don't know, a form of idiocy. We don't know exactly how to describe these two things separate from one another, so we'll blur them in a way that's, they sound different, but we're really saying the same thing. I have a video, put a link to it, titled Salvation Past, Present, and Future. I'm pretty sure it explains all these things, but you know, we all know we have bodies and we know what they are. But your soul versus your spirit, what's the difference? The word says, you know, in the beginning, Elohim created Adam in his own likeness. Elohim is spirit, ruach. So we are truly spirit, and our body is a vessel that we use to travel around in on this earth. What's the soul? It took a lot of study in the original Aramaic Hebrew and in the Father's Word for me to come up with these definitions that I've had for years now. The Aramaic Hebrew word for soul is nephesh. And I think the easiest way for me to define that would be to say that is a person's living experience, like a record of your entire living experience from birth on through eternity. That's the soul, the nephesh. It's a record of your living experience, who you are and where you've been and what you've done, right, wrong, and otherwise. So it's the spirit that leaves the body. Along with it goes the nephesh, the soul. And the body, when people die, you know, the body goes in the ground and it rots away. Until the netkatef, or the rapture. And that's when it is restored by Elohim.
Oh, word? What's going on?
This is Chris, my friends.
Yes, yes. How y'all doing?
There's a good man, I'll tell you.
I gotta follow you on YouTube, man. I gotta get it.
Here. You know, I just hang on, he's got the blower out there making noise.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
So yeah, this is Chris, good friend.
Yes, yes. My man right here. It's my guy. I know him for a couple years now, so it's my guy right here.
I walk around, I talk about the word.
Oh, okay, okay. Listen, some rough times right now, man. You see it.
Things are changing now.
You see it.
Time is up.
Yes.
I do a news program every Tuesday. This is called Walking in the Word. I do this every Saturday. It goes up, so you'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, all right.
And on Thursday I do deep word study. I get into the original Hebrew and everything.
Okay.
There's no religion here, man.
All right, I feel you, I feel you.
Yeah.
Well, let me get back to work. You guys take it easy.
Thanks for spicing me up.
No doubt, man, no doubt.
Have a good one, man.
Have a great one.
Got to get away from this noise. That's Jimmy back there with the blower. Can't help it, you know, it's his job. So anyway, we have the body, the nephesh, the soul, a living experience, and the spirit. We really are the spirit. And these out-of-body experiences reveal that in grand ways. So, anyway, my first story is it's a personal experience of mine, but I wasn't the one who left my body. It was my sister. Well, I have 5 sisters. 5 older sisters, and a mother equals 6 mothers growing up. But my mom only had 4 pregnancies. How does that work? Her 3rd pregnancy, she had triplets. And this is Middlesex County here in New Jersey. She was the first woman to have triplets in Middlesex County. It's a big stink, all in the newspapers and everything, but anyway, one of the triplets is my sister Patty. Now, last week I was telling you about Mark Palladino and, you know, me doing the music out in California and how we saw the UFOs together. I was 19 years old. This goes back 2 years earlier. I was 17 years old. This is the first time I left home. Flew out to see Mark Palladino from New Jersey out to Los Angeles, California. Actually, he was living in Alhambra with his parents. I stayed there with them. I'm 17 years old. It's a weekend, and Mark went with his cousin to an Elvis Presley concert, which they had arranged, you know, before I came to town. And his parents were out to, I don't know what they, you know, doing on the weekend. So I was in their place all alone for the weekend, which, you know, to me that's good. I like solitude. Always did. So you know, to me that meant, oh good, I can have some quiet time, I can write a song. So now California is 3 hours earlier than New Jersey, and I think it was like 11 p.m. or midnight, and I was in the bedroom, sitting on the bed, writing a song, playing my guitar, and behind me there was a pretty big window, wide, not so tall but pretty wide, and it was just blinds, and the blinds were open. I had my back to that window, and writing the song. Well, I was being disturbed. Something was disturbing me. I didn't know what it was. Kept looking behind me, like felt like somebody was staring at the back of my head or something. Finally, it got so bad that I got up, went and closed the blinds, went back, wrote my song. The rest of the night was, you know, normal. The next day, my sister Patty calls me on the phone, and she's like, I had this really vivid dream about you last night. I say, oh really? You know, we're all interested in dreams, right? But you see, this is what I was talking about. We have dreams, we have visions, we have visitations. She didn't have a dream. She left her body, and she visited me 3,000 miles away. The weird thing is, she says, you know, I was flying in my dream, and, you know, she described all the beauty and of the land below her, and then she, you know, she came down, she described this building, and she came to this window. This is the crazy part. And she says, I was outside looking through the window. You were sitting on your bed with your back to the window playing your guitar. I couldn't believe my ears. I was like, come on, you know, that was true. And it was probably during her sleeping hours. And it bothered me so much, I got up and closed the blinds. The window. She was there. I could sense it enough to get up and close the blinds. So that was an out-of-body experience for her, where she left her body. She flew, she saw herself flying 3,000 miles, visited me. In a weird way, I knew it, in that I was disturbed. I had to close the window because she kept bothering me, her presence. And I don't remember what else she said, you know, if it was like, you know, I was trying to call you, but you didn't hear me, or whatever. But, you know, she left her body. Now, that's just a cute story. I always remembered, because we were very close. I mean, my whole family were all very close, always were. But it's kind of neat, man. I mean, she left her body, flew out and visited her brother. I mean, out-of-body experience. Well, now I can tell you a couple of my own personal experiences, and these these are undeniable. 16 years old. That's how old I was when I saw those UFOs far off, the light just going crazy directions, like that stuff. Talked about that last week. But I was 16, in my bedroom. I don't remember what I was doing. May have been sitting in my bed playing my guitar. I mean, from the age of like 15 on, for many, many years, when I tell you that I played my guitar 8 to 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, I do not exaggerate. I was pumping songs out every week. I was really in, so, you know, it's probably sitting on the bed playing my guitar or something. I don't know what happened. But all of a sudden, I was up on the ceiling in the corner of the room, and I was looking down from that top corner, looking down across the room at myself laying down on the bed. My knees were bent, my feet were on the floor, but the rest of my body was out on the bed. And I was just looking at myself. I don't know what happened that I left my body. I have no idea what caused this, but I very clearly, I knew that I was not on the bed. I was up on the ceiling, looking down across the room at myself. I don't know, it seemed to me like I was sleeping, you know. But then all of a sudden, things started clicking, where I was like, what? Because, you know, how could I be here and I see myself there? What is going on? As soon as I had that thought, it was like zip right back in my body, and I flew up out of bed. And I never told anybody about that, you know, back then. I told the story to a couple of close friends over the years, but back then I didn't tell anybody. I couldn't figure it out. I didn't know what. All I knew was that Alan, was not the body, because I was out of the body. My experience was everything that it is right now. My thinking, my seeing, my examining and questioning and thought processes, and that everything that I know to be myself is what I knew when I was not in the body. The body was like, you know, an empty pair of shoes. Let that go. Then, the next time I had an experience like that, I was, I'm guessing, around 20 or 21 years old in New Jersey. Again, I was in my bedroom, late, middle of the night, was writing a song. Now this one, this one really gets me, because I felt myself leave my body and go back in it. I'm sitting down. I got my guitar in my lap. I'm playing chords. I'm writing a song. All of a sudden, I left my body and turned counterclockwise. If you were above me looking down, I would have turned counterclockwise all the way around. So now I was facing myself. I was about 2 feet max, 1.5 feet to 2 feet away from my own body, and I'm playing the guitar, but I was not here playing the guitar. I was there facing myself, watching myself. And the weirdest thing too is I looked at my left hand, which plays the chords, and I remember I was playing a G chord, and I remember thinking, wondering, I wonder what chord I'm going to go to next. And I went to a D chord, and it was around that time that I realized something crazy was going on. I mean, here's my body playing the guitar, working on the song. I didn't pass out or anything. I was still writing and playing, and I don't remember singing. I only remember playing the guitar. And then me, I'm over there facing myself, looking at my strumming, looking over here at the chord stuff, and wondering about that. Well, as soon as I realized, again, just like the other time, as soon as I realized, like, what's going on? Then I back, that time, if you're above, it would have been clockwise, turned back into my body. And then, I don't remember what I did, you know. I only remember that, you know. I imagine, I don't know, maybe I finished writing the song. I really don't remember, but again, I was not my body. I was my spirit. I was the spirit. I was not in my body. I was looking at my body. Crazy stuff, you know. So, you know, last week we talked about UFOs. This week we're talking about out-of-body experiences. And these things are fascinating. They're fun. How's it going, Jimmy?
All good.
Say hi, you'll be on the internet Saturday.
Hello, everybody. Happy Friday.
Check it out, you and Chris.
Oh, yeah, you got us today, don't you?
Have a good day, buddy.
All right, you too. Enjoy your weekend, all right?
Thanks, you too.
Take care of yourself.
Thanks. Anyway, you know, these things are interesting. They're fascinating. They're fun to talk about. But I admonish you, my friends, don't pursue greater knowledge about these things. They are just rabbit holes. The devil will use these things to lead you into darkness, like big time. Especially now, at this point in history, we are at the end of the road. We are at the end of history. Now is more important than any time ever for you to get it together in terms of your relationship with your Maker, your Father, Yahweh, your Adon, your Master, Yeshua. Everybody thinks of him as Jesus, not his name. And his indwelling spirit. You'll always hear me say Ruach. What we're really talking about here, my friends, pay attention to this. It's not so much his indwelling spirit. This can give you weird ideas. It's his presence. It's his presence in you and in your life. That's why I always talk about pitching tents with him. You have to learn how to work with him. And if you pursue these things, you know, UFOs, out-of-body experiences. Another thing is reincarnation. I think I'll touch on that too in a minute. These things will just lead you down rabbit holes, get you away from your walking with him, away from pitching your tent with him, which really means living your life, doing what you do in concert with him, not alone, apart from him. That's all that is, pitching tents. Reincarnation's another one. Very, very interesting. In my past life, I was John the Baptist. Wow, really? Are you still baptizing? No, I gave that up a couple of thousand years ago. It's the devil. Look, the devil doesn't make these things up. He uses truth to deceive. He can't create anything. He can only use what Elohim created and then distort it. It's like my recent video about the 2017 Rapture update, and I'm talking about the woman in the stars. That's the sign of Virgo, and people go, "Oh, you astrology?" You know, it's like, no. The Father, the constellations, really are the Father's book, where he tells a story of his plan for salvation before he started it. And he gave it to Adam, and he called it the Matzeroth. It starts with Virgo, the virgin birth of the Messiah. And you go all the way around. If you start with Virgo, you go all the way around, you end up with Leo, the lion, the tribe of Judah, Yeshua, the Messiah, the King of Israel. So these things, there's truth in all these things. But if you aren't grounded in the word of Yahweh, then you will be led into darkness, and you will have regrets throughout all of eternity. We don't want that. Reincarnation, there have been stories, some person from America, they went out to Paris, France, and they were walking down the street, and all of a sudden they recognized everything. They knew the street. They had never been here in their entire life. They knew the street. They walked up to this house. They went up the stairs. They went in the house. Somehow they were granted access. Maybe they told a story. People let them in. This person knew where the bedrooms were, knew where the bathroom was. Total familiarity. Oh, this proves that he had a past life and lived in Paris, in this house. How else could he know these things? I'll tell you how. It's in the blood. DNA. There's memory in the blood. And your past ancestors, their lives are incorporated in your blood. Come on, that's why we look like our parents. Their lives are in us. Their nefesh, their souls, their living experiences are in us. And we have access to these things. You know? So anyway, that person didn't live a past life in Paris. That person was calling up a life of an ancestor in their bloodline who previously lived there in that house and was able to tap into the memory and so on and so forth. And you know, who else? I mean, who knows what else is being fed to them through demons and, you know, Satan's minions, because they have knowledge about our ancestors. They have knowledge about us. People go to psychics, you know. My mother died. Can you contact my mother? Oh, sure, yeah. Oh, your mother liked smoking Marlboro. Oh, how did you know that? Oh, she loved reading her morning paper. How did you know that? That psychic didn't know it. The demons know it. And they feed this kind of garbage to people to create darkness and confusion. That's all it is. So, Zoe, are you there? If Zoe's not there, go get her, drag her in front of the screen. Last week, my friends, you saw me unpack some gifts from the Detzels in Florida. And Tiffany, well, I read Zoe's letter and she says, oh, I drew you a mockingbird, you know, because of your beautiful song. Oh, Zoe, you touched my heart, because that song means so much to me, I can't tell you. Naked Moon. Song about a mockingbird. So, yeah, I read your letter, and you said, you know, I drew you a picture of the mockingbird. And then, you know, I didn't get it in the video, and I thought, your mother, Tiffany, put the picture in the back of Zayden's workbook. So later on, you know, I was really looking at everything, and I went through Zayden's book more attentively, and then I saw your picture that you drew for me. I love you too. Thank you so much. Here's what I did with it. Okay. I don't know about the lighting. Can I get the picture? That looks pretty good. So that's what I did, Zoe. I put it in a frame, and it's above my bookshelf where, you know, I have all my Bible books and things. Thank you for this wonderful gift. And that's our walk in the Word for this day, my friends. Abba willing, I'll see you here again next week. Abba willing. Shalom, my friends.